the state of Texas has rejected a number of proposed science books for having too much science in them. That's right. After a week of debate, the Republican-dominated Texas Board of Education rejected a number of proposed science textbooks for 8th graders due to a range of concerns about how the book presented the climate crisis. Now, 2023 is certain to be the hottest year on record, according to climate scientists, who agree that the main driver of climate change is human activity, mainly the burning of fossil fuels. These are facts. This is not a debate. And yet in Texas, you aren't really allowed to teach that to kids. Gee, I wonder why. Now, among the reasons the board rejected these books is that, again, they had too much information in them about climate change. Yes, too much information about, an existential event. Too many facts. Yes, that's right. Teaching kids about climate change.
Can't let that happen.
But if you think that's bad, the reasons get even more absurd. One reason that they were rejected is that they were published by companies, and this is again, one of their stated reasons. These companies were too environmentally friendly. What? So they cite the, diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. That's right. These companies, they're investing in too much, environmentally friendly stuff. We can't have that. Can't have that. You must obviously hate fossil fuels. What? No. In fact, other reasons the books were rejected is that they had portrayed fossil fuel use in an insufficiently positive light, potentially harming the state's economy. I mean, it feels like literally an oil lobbyist wrote that. I mean, wow. You have not praised fossil fuels enough. How dare you? And last but not least, because it is Texas, they were rejected for including teachings about evolution, but not creationism. Well, that's because it's a science book. Creationism is not science. It just isn't, okay? So, yes, too many facts, not enough religion. They don't praise oil companies enough. This is what conservatives want to teach your kids. I mean, that's it. That's what they want. Just straight up propaganda, gaslighting bullshit. Okay? Now, one Democratic board member, Marissa Perez-Diaz, summed up the potential influence of ideological and political dogma on education, because that's exactly what this is. Quote, "My fear is that we will render ourselves irrelevant moving forward when it comes to what publishers want to work with us and will help us get proper materials in front of our young people," Perez-Diaz said at a meeting. Well, here's the thing. That's kind of the point of conservatism. To prevent us from moving forward. To prevent us from advancing as a society. You see, there's a lot of money that is in keeping the status quo, okay? And that money, of course, could be lost if we advance beyond, for example, fossil fuels. There's a few select people that would lose out on quite a bit of potential profit. And again, we can't have that. Can't have it.
Can't let that happen.
So now, right now, and by the way, recently another report had come out about, who is really contributing to climate change. Now, again, Republicans love to make this argument that, Biden and the left is blaming average people, the people with gas stoves, and they want to get rid of your hamburgers, they want to get rid of your gas stoves, they want to make you drink through, paper straws, they want to do all this stuff, and it's your fault, it's your fault. No. It's not, though. In fact, according to this report, this is from an Oxfam International analysis. The richest 1% of the global population are responsible for the same amount of carbon emissions as the world's poorest 2/3, or the equivalent of 5 billion people. So a few hundred people are responsible for 5 billion people when it comes to carbon emissions. That is disastrous. Disastrous. And look, according to Max Lawson, who co-authored the report, he said, the richer you are, the easier it is to cut both your personal and your investment emissions. You don't need the third car. You don't need the fourth holiday. You don't need to be invested in the cement industry. You don't need to do that. Okay? That's how your investments, okay, that is how that you are responsible for all of these emissions. It's your money. It's your personal habits. And so, again, disastrous, right? So, look, if people don't realize this, don't realize that, hey, it's the top 1% that is responsible for the vast majority of this and what they're doing, well, they don't realize it, and they're not going to do anything about that. And that's why right now conservatives are interfering in education in order to push an anti-science political agenda. So all this stuff about, oh, it's the left that's indoctrinating the children. No, this is the indoctrination. This is them pushing back against factual information because they're anti-fact and because these facts make it uncomfortable for them. Okay? And now, these facts also make it more likely for young people to push back, to make changes on a macro scale through our political system. Look, if you're knowledgeable about the realities, then you're going to be more engaged in our political system, whether it be through voting, which is, I think, just one small part of this. There's running for office. There's organizing for climate action outside of the political system, putting pressure on these companies to make better choices, better, different changes, to be more concerned about their climate impact. All of that is dependent on knowing the facts, knowing the reality, which is why the right wing, which is driven by oil and gas company money, is so desperate to prevent that. This is where we on the left have to prevail. Because while, young eventual voters will be, an existential threat to these companies and their, bottom line, climate change is an existential threat to our way of life. It is imperative that we win that battle and we can start it by preventing the right wing from hiding the truth.